So, good evening, good evening, good evening. We are back again, the usual Monday evening podcast, the real talk podcast. None of this fake talk. We say it as it is. Jez, how are you, mate? Happy Monday.
All
Happy
good.
Monday. Happy Mud Day, mate.
Yes, absolutely. We're really in there. Good. Nice weekend, decent result, poor performance, but we get away with it. And as I said yesterday, sometimes you have to win ugly, and we won ugly, and that's the way it goes. So I'll take it. It's 3 points, and we're 4 points clear. So,
yep.
What can you not like?
Exactly. And I don't think anyone expected City to lose. So it was a bit of a bonus, really, wasn't it? So yeah, it's put us 4 clear at the moment. Kenny, how you been, mate? How's your Monday going?
Monday's all right. Monday, a weekend after a victory, I'm more than happy with it. But, obviously, apparently we weren't celebrating enough. And a certain person who's currently based in North Carolina went on his Twitter and had the audacity to say that we're not happy with the way we played and the performance. We should go and support someone else now.
Yeah, maybe you should go support Carolina FC, mate, instead of supporting Arsenal.
Yeah, so this is the same guy that still has the audacity to try and insult our intelligence and say that we know nothing about football, that the club was in touch with Saliba and it was always part of the plan. Well, I don't know much, but I know for a fact that if a player's on loan from their parent club, it is a duty of care for the parent club to actually contact the player to see how they're getting on as a part of new well-being, and also checking their footballing progress. So, I don't think it's any beyond the realms of extraordinarity that my guy, the club, were contacting Saliba. But for people to say that Saliba was part of the plan before pre-season, just way off the mark, and it's just pure fantasy, and it's just people trying to support a view all the way from where they are. Same geezer said that, by the way, the guy from North Carolina. I mean, you have
to wonder why he latched on to Arsenal in the first place, and then trying to tell people that live in the area.
Definitely. I mean, you got Jez from Highbury, born and bred. Me, Highbury, born and bred, and then you guys, you from just outside North London. And between us, we've got about 150 years knowledge of this football club. But because we managed to analyse this performance and not be cheerleaders, people like ourselves who are going to tell us to support someone else. Now, I'm not going to I'm not going to rise to it. But if I had a laugh monitor right now, I'll tell you, it'd be going up the scales, mate. It'd be like a punch that's going up to 900 pounds of power, because it's just laughable, isn't it? I think you know it is. You know it is. He's spending too much time with the geography master in Chatham.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, less said about him, the better. But anyway, now we've got all of that out of the way. There was a game of football yesterday. There was quite a few games of football yesterday. I want to talk about Newcastle a little bit later on as well, because they've conceded less goals than anyone in the league, and I didn't know that until today. So yeah, we'll talk about them in a bit as well, right at the end. But Jez, our game started off with a controversy, really, with a power cut to the VAR, and nobody really knew what was going on, and it caused a 45-minute nearly stoppage, or 40-minute stoppage. Then we got served up not the prettiest of games for us. Leeds were hustle and bustle, 100 mile an hour, without any real quality up front, and had a penalty, missed, got another penalty, overturned, and Bukayo Saka's goal was probably the only real highlight for us. But it did win us the game. But what did you make of it overall, Jess? Because we have gone clear, and we have gone on our best start to a season in the top flight ever, which is actually insane, really, considering how long this club's been around. That is our best start to a season after 10 games. But where do you see us right now? Obviously, we're top of the table. Do you think we can get through the next 4 games and still be top? And now, who did you think stood out apart from the goalkeeper yesterday? Because obviously, There wasn't many, so it won't take you long.
No, well, I've never seen. I was trying to rethink today. I can't ever remember a start to a game like that, where you play 1 minute 30 seconds and you stop for 45, restart at 1 minute 30 seconds, all because VAR had a power cut. I understand, that's what I've been told, or what I've read. I don't know. I wasn't there, but it was a bizarre game in my book. Yeah, it wasn't a great performance. It was not. It was actually bloody awful performance. Leeds United came at us from the outset, and we got a decent goal from Saka. When he scored that, I thought, wow, he absolutely lashed that ball, top bins. Great, very well played, very well played. But overall, we were very, very disappointing on the back foot. That second half, I mean, I was just waiting. At any point, they're going to score. They're going to score. They're going to score. The fact they had a crap lineup of, well, I don't, have they got a striker of any quality? Didn't see it yesterday. Bamford's penalty miss was shocking. To actually miss the left post by a foot, that is poor. That is seriously poor. Yeah, I mean, it was a controversial game all around the park. You know, the fact that Bamford smashes Gabriel in the back, the linesman gives it, he gets a red card, they get a penalty, then VAR say, no, you've got to go and have a look at this. He then overtakes it, rescinds the red card and books Bamford. I mean, it had it all yesterday. It was like a pantomime. And yeah, I mean, let's be honest. Ramsdale was definitely my man of the match. I gave him an 8 in hindsight. Maybe I should have given him a 9. He kept us in that game no matter what. The rest of the squad, I thought were poor. To a man. It reflected in my player ratings and Kenny's player ratings. So my second only decent player on the park yesterday was Saka, purely and simply he scored a great goal, which won us the match. We get the 3 points. We win ugly, and it was an ugly performance, Lee. But sometimes that's what you have to take. You can't play pretty football all the time. The fact that we couldn't keep possession in that second half was poor. Poor.
Do you think we'll still be top after the next 4 before the World Cup? 4 points clear. We've got Southampton, Forest, Wolves, and Chelsea.
I think we beat Forest. Southampton's always. We're away at Southampton, aren't we?
Yeah.
That's always a slippery slope for Arsenal. Shouldn't be, but it is. Chelsea will be the big test, dependent on what Man City do. I could see it, Lee, but maybe only by a point.
Yeah, Kenny, what did you make of it all?
You know what? I second everything Jez says. It was quite a bit of a farce, really, and a lot of fans probably would be quite angry with the fact that the game was held up for 40 minutes because of lack of communication with Stockley Park and the referee. Because judging by what we read on social media, judging by the comments we see on TV programs, a lot of fans don't want VAR anyway. So it's ironic that they would have been rather played the game without VAR. But you speak to Mikel Arteta and he spoke after the game on all the platforms. I think he's pretty relieved that VAR was around, because without VAR we lose that game, because they would have had 2 penalties, one they definitely got, and Bamford's goal would have stood. And as Jez says, they played a blinder. It's probably their best performance this season, Leeds, but for some reason, they just couldn't finish. And as Jez says, our goalkeeper saved their bacon, because the performances from a lot of players were bad. And I think the manager has to take some sort of accountability, because it was always a situation that if you play that game against my team, Bodo Glimt, although a guy called Richard Bayer just contacted me to tell everyone on the panel, including you, Lee, that he feels that the reason why we played that, first team against Bodo Glint is that if we win the group, we go straight into the last 16. So he just wanted me to mention that because he contacted me. But saying that, there's no doubt that probably had a contributory factor to the, to performance, because some players played like they had pianos in their back on yesterday. There's no doubt about that. And the players in general, Tomiyasu played like he had a piano in his back. Odegaard's been playing like that for about a month now, and that kind of belies the good start he had. And, JEZ'S, where was he yesterday? It was really bad. And people say, well, you've got to give them a bit of a bite because they've been brilliant all season. You can't have a go at them in one game. I said, well, we're not having a go at them, but if you want people to be, honest with their appraisals of a match, and take away the loyalty to the club and the cheerleading aspect, you've got to say as it is. These guys are poor, and the reason why you mark them down is because you know that if you perform like that and carry on performing like that, one day a team's just gonna be on it. They're gonna have like a world-year game. Every tackle, they're gonna make every tackle. Every cross is gonna be an assist, and they could pipe us, especially if we play like that. So that's why we're always going to demand the high standards. And let's face it, the top conversation has to be Gabriel Magalhaes. People can, go on podcasts and accuse us of all sorts that we're picking on him and we're having a go at him. We're not having a go. We're just saying as it is. You can go up to certain fan cams where the leader of the fan cam said he had a great game. I don't know what that guy was watching, because let's face it, without VAR, he would have had a red card and given away a penalty. And let's face it, referees have been known to send people off, even if they don't catch the guy. If you raise your legs in an action or kick them, I'm sorry, that could have been a red card. So I don't see why.
We see Beckham do it against Simeone in a World Cup match.
Yeah. Well, Vieira missed Van Persie by a mile, but Van Persie pretended to be hurt. He still got sent off. So for people to just say that, oh, we're nitpicking, we're not nitpicking. He was poor against Fulham. We gave him a bye because of that.
Palace.
Led to a goal.
First game of the season.
Palace, yeah. Spurs, we can argue was very good, and then Liverpool wasn't good. So let's face it.
But he still gave a penalty away in the Spurs game, Kenny. And all I keep doing is, it be Xhaka's pass back to him. Well, does that mean that Xhaka control his legs to kick him then?
No, definitely. Two phases of play. He was part of the problem, and that's the situation. He is going for a bad patch, and we should be able to say it, because you know what happens. You can't carry a player. Yeah, I know Arteta likes a sort of left-footed, right-footed combination with his centre halves, but it's going to be a situation. It's going to be a situation where he's got to think about it and said, you know what, I think it's time to give Benjamin White a go there, because I know I've got a good right back in Tomiyasu. You know what I mean? And if he gets Tomiyasu at right back, he can leave Mike Kieran alone and let Mike Kieran play at left back, because one of the things I'll never accept, Tomiyasu playing last week against Liverpool when you're playing against Salah and it's a horse for courses. But the reason why we have horses for courses is because those kind of selections have to be rare. It shouldn't be the norm. This is a top-class left back we're leaving out for no other reason, because the guy had a good game last week. Pay your best players. You hear all these people from other podcasts and other fans play your best players. Kieran Tierney is still the best left back at this football club. Doesn't matter whether Zinchenko, what people think of Zinchenko, they think Zinchenko's got more experience because he's at Man City, he's got better technique and blah, blah. The fact is, I don't understand the team selection regarding Kieran Tierney. And at the moment, it isn't costing us because we're winning. But I just find it quite strange. And I think that if I was Kieran Tierney when I'm fit and raring to go, I'll be pretty pissed off.
Yeah, totally agree, mate. Totally agree. And the thing is, people just people have this mindset on social media, especially football social media. You can't criticize, you can't slate a player, you can't say anything bad about anyone or the club But these people can slate you for saying something about the player and the club, and that's fine. Yeah. How about I'll say what I like, you can say what you like, and everyone else can say what they like. If you don't like it, fuck off. It's as simple as that. We've grown up in eras where we have seen some of the greatest centre backs in living history. Yeah, we have seen Baresi's and Maldinis and players like that, and Cannavaros. We've seen Rio Ferdinand, Vidic. We've seen Tony Adams, yeah, and Steve Bold and Keones, and we've seen proper defenders. Yeah, proper. John Terry's another one. Vincent Kompany's another one. All them centre backs in the Italian league in the 90s, pretty much every single one of them was proper. Yeah. So when I sit there and I see a centre back that week after week after week does the same dumb shit, I'm going to say it. And if people say you've got an agenda, yeah, my agenda is to call out players that ain't good enough on a consistent basis. That's my agenda. It's pretty simple. Get better. Yeah, get better. And this isn't even a this season thing. This stems back to last season with that player as well. Southampton, Walcott spun him, scored because he was right on him, sheeping him, like right up him. Yeah, and he does it all the time. I keep saying it. He does it. He done it against Man United. He should have been sent off at Old Trafford. Yeah, Greenwood done him right up near the corner flag. He was already on the yellow. Yeah, because he'd already wiped Rashford out on the halfway line 10 minutes earlier. Luckily, he didn't get sent off in that game. But he's got way too many mistakes in him. And if you look at the games he's played this season, Fulham he was a shambles. Palace he was a shambles. Spurs he gave the penalty away. Yesterday he was lucky he didn't see red. Yeah, another referee would have still given him a red. Yeah, because he waved his foot out, whether he's touched him or not, whether it looks deliberate or not. He has actually waved his leg at him, and he did do it deliberately. And he's very lucky he didn't get sent off in the end. And all the fans that sit there and say about VAR's conspiracy and this and that, well, they've all gone to bed now, ain't they? Yeah, because there ain't no conspiracy this season then, is there? Do you know what I mean? And if you look how many times Gabriel has his hand up in the air, we see it against Liverpool, his arm was up in the air. Yeah, we see it against Palace, the ball at his hand in that penalty box that day. You know, his hands are always up there. He is not a very good defender. And if we want to go forward and progress and actually win a title, he ain't the guy. It's as simple as that. And if people don't like me saying it, you've got two options. Either don't watch it or cry if you do watch it. Because I ain't changing my opinion on him until he changes his performances. Pretty simple, isn't it? Yeah, when people used to say to us back in the day, Kenny, oh, yeah, you lot are profiting, yeah? You lot are profiting off of the demise of the club. Well, how about the club get better then? Did you ever think of that? Like, it's not rocket science, is it? If a player is consistently playing poorly, he is going to consistently be dug out. And if people don't like that, tough. These people that want to sit online and say, oh, you're out of order, you shouldn't be picking on him. Most of these people have never been to a football match. Yeah, go to an away game. Yeah, go to an away game when your team are getting fucking hammered 5-0. Yeah, and then you'll know what negative is, isn't it? Yeah, go and sit through the last 2-3 years of Arsene Wenger ball. Yeah, you know what negative is if you were going to the ground every week. Yeah, so somebody's sitting on a YouTube channel saying how shit a centre back is when he's been shit. Yeah, if that makes you cry, then you're a little bit too fragile to be on the internet. It's pretty simple, isn't it? Maybe you should get off the internet and sort your life out instead of worrying about somebody else's opinion. Why are you offended on somebody else's behalf? Is Gabriel sitting there crying about my opinion about him? Probably not. Yeah, he's probably out buying another car or another watch or buying some earrings for his missus or something. Yeah, or going out for a swanky meal. He don't give a shit. Yeah, so why should I give a shit? Simple, isn't it? Anyway, I want to talk about Odegaard, Jez. Yeah, because seeing as we're going to be on a negative one and everyone's going to be upset, let's fucking take this prick apart as well then, because I can't stand him. Yeah, and I genuinely have not liked this guy since he was on loan with us. I don't see the hype around him. I've never got the hype around him. Real Madrid very, very, very rarely let a player go that goes on to excel. Very, very rarely. I can only think of Ronaldo. And did Ronaldo really excel when he left Real Madrid? Probably not. He didn't win the Champions League since he left. So we can't maybe even put Ronaldo in that bracket. I actually genuinely can't think of a player, maybe the chat can help out, that has left Real Madrid and gone on to better things. So if people are pinning their hopes on this guy to be the guy, the captain, the leader, the guy that's going to dictate play, and he's just a younger Mesut Ozil. Looks good on the ball, don't really do anything. Looks pretty though, like pretty pass here and there. Yeah, gets the odd assist and everyone creams their pants. What do you make of him? Because I thought he was shit again yesterday.
Yeah, he was poor. He did one good pass, split the defence for Saka to score the goal. Apart from that, all I saw was his name on the team sheet, and then I thought he disappeared. That's all I saw.
Oh, but he got an assist.
Well, okay. That's his job. He should be doing that, you know, getting those incisive passes 4, 5, 6, 7 times a game. I remember having a midfield back in time, Arsenal, that we had players like that continually making those sort of defence splitting passes. And that was what you expect when you pay somebody 100 grand a week. You know, I'm sorry, this guy is just not in my ilk. The man. I'm sorry, I don't. He's, you know, yes, this season he has had a couple of decent games, but I just don't see the hype over this man. I really don't. Yeah, okay, you get the odd assist once or twice. No, I expect him to be commanding in that midfield, breaking into that 18-yard box and scoring regularly in games, 1 in 3 games, let's say. No, I'm not seeing that. So, no, I am being negative because I expect our team to have a strong midfield. Arsenal have always had decent midfields. Not always best, but our midfield at the moment, it was proven yesterday, was bloody awful. We couldn't hold on to the ball in the second half. They were getting overrun, and it was a shocking display. And we got lucky. We were very lucky. I've seen loads of people giving it the big one. Leeds United, it's a tough ground to go and play. Yes, it is a tough ground to go and play. But if you want to challenge to win the Premier League, you have to man up a little bit. Because Leeds came on us straight from the start for 1.5 minutes, and then we rested for 45, and then they came back to us again. And it was that second half, Lee, Kenny, was in bloody embarrassment. I was sat here thinking, it's a matter of time. It's a matter of time. Bamford gets that penalty, slots it wide. We got away with it. We got out of jail yesterday, and so everybody bigging up our midfield yesterday in Odegaard and, dare I say it, my favourite player, Granit Xhaka. No. We need better. Because we ain't going to win the Premier League with a midfield like that. Simple.
I 100% agree with you, mate. Literally, we had no midfield yesterday. We've seen him do this a lot, though. He done it for, I said this last week, the Liverpool second goal. He was just pavement bopping, just jumping up and down, in the centre circle, and Henderson walked straight past him. And this is the guy that is apparently supposed to lead the press. Well, he weren't leading no press yesterday. He was getting pressed and he flopped. And this is the thing, like, it always seems like he's okay at home, not very good away. And we've had this with a certain Mesut Ozil, mate.
Yeah, Mesut Ozil. I do recall that gentleman. Yes, I do.
Yeah, we've seen him disappear away to the point where he just didn't even bother travelling to away games in the end. Anywhere north of Watford Gap, he was like, "No, I'm out of here, mate. See you later." Yeah, but for somebody that is nearly 24 years old, like, this guy is really, really flattered to deceive me, mate. I can't lie. Yeah, Odegaard for me is just not good enough. Yeah, and he does just enough aesthetically pleasing on the eye with some nice little passes that he'll get a 7 out of 10 most weeks. But what does he actually do? Like, I'm baffled. He's 24. He's 24 in 6 weeks. In fact, sorry, I'm lying. It's 2 months today. He's 24. 24 years old. He's been playing football since he was 15 for first team football. So he's been playing first team football for 9 years, and this is the end product of that. You're not going to get much better. He's not going to grow that much better that he's suddenly going to flourish into a 15-goal a season, man, because that means he's got to totally rip up what he's doing. If we want to compete and win titles, the bozo gene at centre-back and this guy need binning ASAP. But Kenny, what do you make of him? You see him live a hell of a lot more than I have.
Well, the thing is, first and foremost, Sean Bradders, I know you watch us, man. I just saw you. You know, Sean, I know you watch us. Facts are watching. We're all big fan of yours as well. So I want to say this as well. Simple. Obviously, Jez, we didn't know you at the time, but myself and Lee, we had very high standards and high expectations of Mesut Ozil. And one of the things that we criticised Mesut for was the fact that we knew that Mesut, did. There were times when Mesut would create a few chances here and there and probably create an assist. But what we wanted from Mesut Ozil was the work rate and the consistency. And we didn't let up on Mesut Ozil. So when we're seeing the same things with Odegaard, we're not going to just make allowances for him, because obviously, yes, he works harder. Well, you play for Mikel Arteta, you've got to work a lot harder than Mesut Ozil did, or you'll be out of the team like Mesut. But there's no doubt in my mind, since probably the boom, since last month, September, there's been a bit of a pattern where he hasn't been completing games and he has fading in football matches. Don't get me wrong, when we started games, he does some good assists. He did a good assist for Gabriel for the first game against Liverpool. Good assist for Saka's goal, where Saka wins the ball back, wins the header, then he lays it off to Odegaard. Odegaard does a 1-2 splits to Leeds defence, going around roof the net. But that's just not enough. And the annoying pre-assist merchants, I wasn't accepting that from Mesut Ozil, so I'm not going to accept it from my Odegaard, because I say it once, I say it 1,000 times. When you have a player like that, they are the players who are going to be the teams that, when teams have a low block, defending numbers, they're the players we need to kind of open teams up. And if you can't do that on a consistent basis, or you become a bit of a passenger in a game, then it's got to be noted. Now, it's easy for to say, "Oh, you lot are being harsh," but hang on here. The most important person, the manager, substituted him. He substituted him against Tottenham, substituted against Liverpool, substituted him on Thursday, substituted him against Leeds. I believe he was substituted in previous games before that. Now, that's not a good look. Now, if you're carrying an injury, I don't know you're carrying an injury, but because I don't think you're carrying an injury, and I don't. I've got Bradders. I play the piano because I don't think you're carrying an injury. I've got to look at your form, and your form has dropped off, because we are in a position where we are the team in possession. Now, come May or come January, if we believe we're vying for the championship, we need to have players on form. We can't carry players on reputation. There's going to be a situation where in the games in the new year, there's going to be times when teams are going to think, you know what, we're playing Arsenal, they're going for a championship, we're not going to give them a give me, we're going to put men behind the ball, hit them the counter attack, we're going to defend deep. You're going to need a player like him to open that door and put his hand up and be an hero. And right now, the reason why we're nitpicking is because our standards is either win a title or challenge for it or ship out. Top four's not what I'm up about. I'm not. Arsenal's not a top four team. It's the team that should be challenged for the title and should be winning the title.
Sorry to cut you off. The problem is when you've got ex-players that wheel out merchandise on a regular basis, saying top four is the aim. When you've got four of our first team squad sitting in pre-season telling the world top four is the aim. Yeah, when you've got that happening, then you've got these puppet journalists that sit there banging on about top four. Then you have other ex-players that go and sit on TalkSport saying top four. Unfortunately, that goes out to a massive, wide audience of millions and millions of people that sit there and say, oh, well, Arsenal were unlucky last season not to get top four, but nobody expected them to. This year, it's okay. Well, now let's kick on and let's get top four. You can't just go from fifth to win a title. Not rubbish. But when people are brainwashed into thinking that, Kenny, and you've got that personalities of our club saying that, ex-players, etc., then that is going to be put out. Why is it the narrative within our fan base this season is get top four, we'll win the Europa League? Why? Because four of our first team players said it in pre-season to the public, to the media.
I hate you saying
that. If they let's go and win the title, the narrative would be in our fan base, we're going to go for the title. So they're very impressionable by what the players say.
But I don't think it's the players. I think it's the mentality of the fans, because it's not just us. You look at, if you look at the start of the Premiership, Man United, the most dominant club in the, dominant club in English football. And afterwards, when Abramovich came, Chelsea became a bit of a dominant club. Now, there's been periods, since Sir Alex has left Man United, and since, periods where, Chelsea are down tools, where, you never expect, this Chelsea to talk about the top four, or the Man United to talk about the top four, because they, as far as they're concerned, they should be winning the title. And I've never been comfortable with Arsenal talking about the top four at all. And I think, people talk about the top four, but as far as I'm concerned, if you're a big club with a big reputation, you're a big spending club, to get in the top four, I just think it's just an example of lack of ambition, really. That's a given. You should be in the top four. You're the best teams in the country with biggest spending clubs with the best players. It's a given you should be in the Champions League. Now, if people say we've got no right to be in it, well, why not? Why support Arsenal for? Why did you support Arsenal in the first place? 9 out of 10 times, you would have support a club in the modern day age because of the club was successful. And I'm not saying everyone does that, because there are some good people who will support their local club, or might support their club because their grandfather passed on the traditions of supporting a football club. But I have to assume, rightly or wrongly, modern football fans are attracted to clubs that win trophies. So if that's the case, then I find it just strange that, we're celebrating the top four. Because if you celebrate the top four because you think it's a great achievement, then I beg to differ in that. If you're celebrating the top four because it's Tottenham, then again, I beg to differ in that, because I've heard Spurs fans who, at the time, I thought they had the audacity, but this is their ambition. They don't want the top four. They want something bigger than that. So if they're saying it, why is the third biggest club in the country support saying top four? Because, sorry, that's not an achievement. Winning the titles.
The funny thing about it is, Kenny, is we did top four for 20 years. What did it do for us, apart from lower the standards of the club? Yeah, all it did was, let's just go pass around Europe like a peace pipe. Oh, look, we've got Barcelona again. Oh, look, we're going to get slapped by Bayern. Yeah, well, we had a better manager and better players back then, and we were getting pumped. What makes anybody think that if we got into the Champions League, we'd go on and win it? Because if that ain't the aim to go on and win it, then I couldn't give a shit about it. Yeah, real talk. Yeah, what's the aim? The aim isn't to finish third loser. The aim is to go and win the title. It's to go and win the trophy. It's go and win the FA Cup. It's go and win the Champions League. And people say, yeah, but you can't just go from 5th to 1st. Well, you can. I've seen Chelsea go from 10th to 1st. I've seen Leicester go from relegation fodder to win it. Yeah, I've seen Atletico Madrid do it in their league. I've seen AC Milan do it last season in their league. Yeah, that's the first time they've won a title in 10 years, or broke up the dominance for 10 years or whatever. It is possible. It is doable. You can actually compete if you do what's required. Just very quickly, before we move on, about Odegaard, because I see somebody putting about Odegaard creates chances. This season, he's created 3 big chances in 9 games. Danny Welbeck has 4. Pascal Gross has 6. They both play for Brighton. Leon Bailey plays for Aston Villa. He's got 4. Eze has 4. These are teams that are right down the bottom, by the way. Jack Harrison has 5. Marcus Rashford has 4. Ward-Prowse plays for relegation-threatened Southampton, has 4. Gabriel Jesus has 3. Martinelli has 4. But the creative spark we've always been missing is behind all of these players. Harvey Elliott has barely kicked a ball this season and has the same amount of big chances created. So this whole, he creates this, he creates that. Nah, I've heard all of this shit with Mesut Ozil. This footballer is not very good. It's as simple as that. And that's all I want to say on it. Let's move on because there's a comment here from Matt, and he mentioned this on his fan cam yesterday. Before we move on to this comment, make sure you are smashing the likes up, people. Make sure you subscribe to JEZ'S channel, links in the description, Arsenal history and more. And also, make sure you check out Kenny Ken 1972. I have joined the non-social media sphere as well, by the way. I have joined TikTok, which I said that I would never join because it is full of nonsense. But I'm fed up of seeing people sending me clips of myself on that platform. So I thought I'd do it myself. So the link for that, if you want to follow me, is pinned comment in the live chat. I think it is anyway. No, it's not. Oh my God, I'm lying. Where's it gone? But smash the likes up while I find that. And I want to read this comment out real quick as well from Matt and get your thoughts on it first, Jez, and then come to Kenny. There's my TikTok. There it is. Bosh, go and follow that. This comment: the ambition of this club will be tested in the forthcoming months. When I spoke to Matt on the fan cam last night, he said, we're now actually going to see how much Arsenal do want to compete for a title. Because when that January transfer window opens, it's quite clear we need players. So are this club serious about winning the title? Because I still believe we'd be top of the table come the World Cup. So when we come back and play West Ham on Boxing Day, I still think we'll be top. I think we'll win the next 3 games, maybe get sank against Chelsea. But the other 3 out of the 4, I think we'll win. Wolves ain't all that. Southampton are crap. And Nottingham Forest, well, they couldn't score in a brothel. So I do think we'll beat all of them. Chelsea's the hard one. But then going into that West Ham and that Brighton game, there's still a potential we'll be top on New Year's Day. That's then when we need to see the ambition in this club and whether we're just a top 4 team or whether we're actually going for a title. What do you think they're going to do, Jez?
In the January,
what would you do?
What would I do?
Yeah.
I'd be looking for another striker. I'd be looking for another attacking midfielder. I'd be looking for another backup right back and another goalkeeper. Okay, I didn't see the game the other night in the Europa League. I couldn't, Wi-Fi was pants. But apparently I'm led to believe he had a great game. Fair play. Okay. I still don't think he's the man for the Premier League if Ramsdale's injured. What will we do in the January transfer window, Lee? All seriousness, looking at what we did this last season when we let a load of players go and we bought no one, that concerns me deeply. If this club, if Edu and his crew are serious, they will go and they will already be looking to do the business after that World Cup. It's the biggest transfer window in world football. Yeah. Some of the best players in the world are going to be playing in that. So they should be already and anticipating doing some business. My only concern is with Edu and his ilk. Will they do it? No. I don't believe.
There you go.
I know because it's very difficult. We know inherently it's very difficult to buy top level players in the January transfer window because simply teams that are doing very well in their leagues, dare I say it, the likes of Man City, Barcelona, Real Madrid, AC Milan, all those top teams, if they're doing well, they're not going to let their best players go. Not in January, maybe in the summertime when there's a time to, negotiate.
I totally agree with you in terms of the top bracket teams. But we've never been a team or a club, should I say, that go and shop in that top bracket anyway.
We need to, Lee. We need to.
I agree, mate. I do. I totally agree with you. But I also think that there's players that we can get for pretty cheap this January. Madison's one of them.
Yeah,
I'll go with
that.
They're playing at teams that are lower down the table. Ivan Toney walks into this team over Eddie Nketiah. Yeah, and I think you could play him and Jesus together. You could give Saka a rest here and there and put Jesus on the right. Yeah, he did it for City for years. And then you could play Toney up front, who's very good at link-up play anyway. Then you've got Madison. Then you've got other players. Walker Peters would be a decent right-back option for us as a backup right-back. Yeah, he plays for Southampton. They're teams that are like lower down the table. Yeah, and I don't think they'd cost that much. Ivan Toney and Madison, obviously, they're going to cost quite a bit of money. In the grand scheme of things, if that wins you a title, it's worth doing, right? And then you've got them players for the next 4 or 5 years.
I totally agree with what you're saying. I do agree with what you're saying. Somebody was asking me on my chat, I think Saturday night, about Madison. I said, yeah, all day long, go and get him. Will we do it though? Will we shell out all the money in the January window for that player? I don't believe I don't have enough faith, Lee, in Edu and Arteta and Vinay to do the deals. I don't. I'm sorry. I don't have that confidence in them, and I think that'll be. I'll say this to you and Kenny now in the chat. If Arsenal don't go and do the true business in January to maintain the squad, right? If they fail in that, then Arteta, Edu, and Vinay have to go. We are in the best place currently, 4 points clear, top of the Premier League. I agree with you. I believe we'll go into the World Cup, top of the league, maybe by a point. I think there will be a slip up. But if we go into that and we don't come back and do the business, then they go.
What do you reckon, Kenny?
Well, the thing about it is that, the thing about the January transfer window, people say it's the most difficult, but in certain cases, it isn't, because there's a lot of players who push for moves that who want to leave a club, and it's probably the best time to get these players out of your club. So someone like Maddison, who's playing really well for Leicester, there's going to be a situation where, Leicester City definitely need the money. There's no doubt about it. They're not spending any money on player recruitment. They're spending a lot of money on their training ground. So they're going to have to sell players rather than buy players. So that's a player that, we have to sort of have a little nib of. And Tielemans as well, there's going to be a situation when Tielemans will be available. If he's in the last year of his contract and Leicester City are inadvertently a selling club, then that's another player we need to look at. But in saying that, Jez is right. This World Cup is probably going to spark a lot of activity in January, because there are going to be players going to put themselves in a shop window. I'm not just talking about players, the normal players, but there's going to be. We may see a few players from the countries, from players like Senegal, Ghana, players that we don't see much of, have a good World Cup. Business can be done for them. I'm not saying they should come to Arsenal, but I do think that if going by the results, I expect us to beat Southampton. Find a way. It's going to be difficult. We're probably going to take it to the 11th hour. We're probably going to, put everyone through the ringer. But Nottingham Forest has just got no confidence. It's just so bad. They're so bad. You know what I mean? That we should beat them comfortably. And then after Nottingham Forest, you've got Chelsea now. Chelsea are not playing particularly well, but they're a solid side. And they finally, with Aubameyang and Sterling on the side, they got a cutting edge. And obviously, because we did double over them last season. We didn't do double over them, because we beat them at Stamford Bridge, and we beat them 4-2, and it was quite a emphatic victory. They're going to be super, super up for it. Aubameyang's going to be super, super up for it. So basically, they're going to be looking for an idiot. And I repeat, Chelsea Football Club are going to be looking for an idiot player to, try and be over passionate, get themselves booking and then get themselves a red card. That's what Chelsea be doing. They'll be in the referee every 5 seconds. So
and we've got one of them. He plays at centre back. I kind of opened the door to that comment, but what I'm trying to say is that Chelsea's, even if we do lose against Chelsea and we beat Wolverhampton, we're going to be a point ahead. So going into that the January window and into Christmas, West Ham, then we got West Ham, Brighton, Newcastle. West Ham, I don't know. You never know what West Ham turns out. You know what's going to happen with Brighton. Saying that, we're in the business end of the season, and we have to buy. We have to look at players and say, look, we're in a league title, because everyone we speak to, at games, you speak to people on social media, speak amongst ourselves, and I spoke to a well-esteemed journalist. He thinks our squad's too thin. So I think, even though Mikel likes to work with smaller squads, injuries will occur. Injuries will occur during the World Cup, and who knows, maybe players at the moment are playing with injuries. So you are going to need to have some fresh faces. So, if we don't buy, then it's going to be a situation where it's going to cost us. I mean, I just remember, I know it's probably like a history lesson, but
86, 87 season, one of the things that Trevor Brooking used to say when we had that good team under George Graham and Martin Hayes and everything, Trevor Brooking used to always say, buy or you'll blow the title. And that was language that we're using 36 years ago, still relevant today. Arsenal have to buy in the January transfer market if they want to win the title.
Yeah, 100%. And the thing is, our squad, we've said this all season. If you look at the bench in every game in the season, it's a championship bench. Like, honestly, real talk, it's a championship bench. We've got Rob Holding, who's just a cheerleader. Couldn't give a shit whether he plays or not. We've got Vieira, who's skinnier than me. Yeah, might become a good player, but he ain't ready yet. And then we've got Eddie Nketiah, who's, I mean, whoever made that decision to give him number 14 and 100 grand a week should be sacked. Like, honestly, real talk, 100 grand a week to sit on the bench. Embarrassing. Absolute shambolic. And then you've got Cedric Suarez sitting on the bench. Our best left back sits on the bench. If I'm his agent, I'm finding him a new club in January. He's way too good to be sitting on a bench, Tierney. Such a good player. And I don't care if he gets injured. Yeah, Thomas Partey's been injured pretty much the same amount of time as he has since Partey's arrived. So that's not an excuse. Like, he's injured, get rid of him. Tomiyasu had 6 months out nearly with a calf injury. Yeah, funny enough, Zinchenko's missed 6 games with a calf strain. So, you know, we need to go and get reinforcements big time. And whilst it's been great, and it has been a great start, it's been our greatest start to a season in the top flight after 10 games, it can very easily disappear. And that leads me on perfectly to Newcastle, by the way, because if you look at the Premier League table, I'm going to wrap this up in a couple of minutes, lads. So I'm going to have to be quick. In the next few minutes or 5 minutes or so, I'm going on with Henry Wright. But if you look at the standings in the table, Man City are 4 behind us. They're level with Tottenham. And Chelsea are on 19. They're 8 points behind us. They have a game in hand against Liverpool. Man United are on 16 points. They have a game in hand against Leeds. So even if they won their games in hand, Chelsea United, we've still got a bit of a gap. But Newcastle are there, down in 6th, 12 points behind us. They have only conceded 9 goals this season. That is the least in the league, which is actually mad. I know they spent quite a lot of money in the summer. In fact, a lot of money in the summer. But he's got them doing all right. They're playing decent football. They're getting good results. They should have beaten City. Ended up getting a draw. I haven't seen the highlights of the United game yet. But they're going to be an issue, a big issue this season. And I wanted to ask you guys. I'll go with you first, Jez. Do you think that they can challenge for top 4? Or do you think it'd be same as us, maybe fade away a little bit?
I think next season, I'd say two of my, a couple of them, one of them comes in my chat sometimes. They're born and bred Geordies, and I was having a debate with him over the weekend. I said, "You're doing very well, all this and all that." He said his prediction is 6th this season. I tend to agree with that. Next season, with more investment, which they will spend big, I think they will be a challenge. I think they will be really challenging next season. And big up to Newcastle. They're a great club, you know. They deserve to challenge. Their fan base is literally unbelievable. Going to that ground is going to Newcastle for a weekend to watch Newcastle Arsenal is an occasion. That's all I can say. So, yeah, I think next season they will be challenging top 4 without a shadow of a doubt.
Kenny, do you think they can get top 4? If not, actually, yeah. Well, obviously, Jez, you don't think they're getting top 4 this season. Where do you think they will finish this season? Quickly, Jez.
I think they'll be in 6th.
Interesting. What about you, Kenny? Do you think they can?
You know what? I think that if teams want to get in the top 4 and teams want to win the title, it's going to be dependent on their results at St James's Park because I think that's an intimidating ground and they've got better players than they had, you know, even last season where they had a really good finish. If Isak was fit and they had, you know, Isak, if they had Isak, Guimaraes, was it San Maximan and they had Wilson, then you look at that side and you think, you know what, with that attack and with a bit of solidity behind them, there's no reason why they can't. But the thing with Newcastle is they're very difficult to beat, but they need to turn some of their draws into wins. And I think that's the situation. You know, if you go into the top 4, if you've got Man City in the ropes, you've got to finish them off. If you're going for the top 4 and you won 1-0 up against Liverpool, you shouldn't be conceding last minute winners against Liverpool. So it's things like that will stop them from getting top 4. But ordinarily, if they keep those 4 fit, they turn their draws into wins and win, and their home form's exemplary, there's no reason why they can't compete with it, because they've got the most money. But there's going to be a situation next season they're going to have to, but it's going to be really hard because top 6, not only have they got massive squads, they got really big players in their side, and only 4 of them can get in the Champions League, so it's going to be hard for Newcastle to break in. But once they get in the top 4, they ain't coming out of it. That's the danger to all the traditional top 6 who are not meeting their standards and are basically like showing lack of ambition. Because as Arsenal have found, whilst we were resting our laurels with the top 4, Man City came in and put us down a place or 2, and then Tottenham started finishing above us. So it's easily done. Lessons for all big clubs: do not be complacent and don't think for 1 minute that Newcastle's money won't make a difference. It will.
It already has. Let's be real. Yeah, and Eddie Howe, I know they've not won anything, and the aim is to win. Yeah, but to take them from near a relegation, which is where they were heading if they hadn't sacked Steve Bruce, they were going down. They were going to disappear real quick. Yeah, so to get rid of him, bring in Eddie Howe, stay up, and now after 10 games, they got the best defense in the league, and they've only lost 1 game. They've had a lot of draws, but they have only lost 1 game this season out of 10 games. That's pretty damn impressive. Yeah, that is. In fact, that's really impressive. Yeah, there's a few teams behind them with games in hand and stuff like that that could potentially go ahead of them, like Brighton, Liverpool, etc. They could both leapfrog them, so they'd be down to 8th. But they've done pretty well, and if they could turn a couple of them draws into wins, all of a sudden they are up there. And that's what you're saying, Kenny. Like when you're 3-1 up against Man City, you got to win the game. Yeah, if you want to get in them European spots, you've got to win the game. Yeah, and you can't be 3-1 up and then bottle it. Yeah, and I don't think we've ever been 3-1 up against City in the Premier League, have we?
Very, very long time ago.
Yeah, if we have, it must have been a long time ago. Yeah, but yeah, the same. You can't concede last-minute winners against Liverpool if you want to get in the European spots. You can't do that. You have to be beating them teams. And listen, they're both of them teams, Liverpool and City, are miles better than Newcastle. Yeah, they're miles better than most teams in the league. Let's be real with it. But when you're in a position where you could be beating both of them, and then you don't win each game, yeah, that's going to come back to bite them at the end of the season. But I wouldn't be surprised if they go and do some business. They're linked to Maddison, yeah, and I think that if he goes there, he elevates them easily. They'll finish in the European spots if he stays fit. But I don't see him getting top 4. But I do think they could get Europa. And it's going to be a very interesting next 12 months or so to see what they do in the next 2 transfer windows. And it'd be interesting to see if they keep hold of Eddie Howe, because is he the guy that's good enough to elevate him as well? He can maybe only get him. He might be just a stepping stone for a more high-level manager to come in. But so far, he's done pretty well. And I like the way they play football as well. Newcastle is sick. I like Newcastle. I like the stadium. I like the town or the city. The people are mad. But they're a good club, man, and as long as they don't beat us, I'll be all right.
And if you're there on Saturday night, you get lots of lovely, very, very, very pretty young ladies walking around with practically nothing on.
Oh dear. Well, I've been to Newcastle to watch Arsenal away and did the whole weekend up there, and I can confirm that is spot on. Yeah, it is a proper decent night out, and the accent's sexy on a girl, proper nice. Geordie accent's proper tight. Love their accent. But anyway, before I get cancelled,
I didn't say anything wrong. It's a very pretty young lady.
Oh, no, I'm only playing. But yeah, anyone who hasn't been to Newcastle, get yourself to Newcastle for a night out.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing.
It's really nice. I like Newcastle. Very, very nice. Man said they're very friendly. But anyway, I am going live in 3 minutes. He's having a few problems with his camera, so I'm going live with Henry Wright in 3 minutes. I'm going to get you the link while Jez tells us what he's got coming up this week.
I did a show. I did a match review last night. The wife and I are going away for a couple of days down into a very lovely old country house hotel tomorrow. Come back Thursday, so it'll be nothing for a couple of days. And then I'm on with Warren at 7 o'clock tonight. We're doing a Desert Island disc game show where I talk about some of my favourite games that I've ever been to. He's doing a whole series of these with different people. Should be quite fun, actually. And then we'll see what happens after that. But yeah, gonna have my wife works for John Lewis, and they have 6 hotels in the UK, and they are stupidly. I mean, we've got a beautiful room, right? Bed, breakfast, and dinner, £123 a night for the 2 of us.
That's pretty decent. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty decent, mate.
That is mad, isn't it? Obviously, got to pay for your drinks, but because she works for John Lewis, she's a partner. They do these crazy stuff. So, yeah, be nice.
Yeah, they used to do. I don't know if they still do, but my mum used to work for. She was in a warehouse. She was a manager of a warehouse for a massive clothing company, and they used to do like a discount day for staff. Yeah, so like the warehouse would be closed for the day, but you could all go down there, just help yourselves to anything you wanted in the warehouse. Like, and you could go in and you help yourself. You just have to pay a donation for each item. So you could put 5p in, 10p in. My mum used to come back with big black sacks full of clothes and stuff, man, like all brand spanking new. Yeah, but yeah, some companies are really good with stuff like that. But what you got coming up, Kenny? Make sure you follow JEZ'S channel. It's in the description, people. So go and check that out. Arsenal history and more. What you got coming up, Kenny?
Well, I'm just going to do about 6:30. I'm going to do half an hour with Leeds United and Dan. Then I'm going to at 7 o'clock. I'm doing a show with Albert Jomo because we were meant to do it with James Johnson, but he couldn't make it. So it's just me and Albert. And then Lady Chan has asked about my availability to do the boxing show. Because as you can see, there was a lot of boxing this week, and I'm not just talking about the women's fight, but I'm not going to talk about boxing talk because we'll be here all day. But there is the Cricket World Cup that's coming on this weekend as well. So there's a World Cup Rugby League, a World Cup in 2020 cricket, and the real World Cup coming next month.
There you go. So check Kenny Ken 1972 out on Insta as well, people. I'm going live with Henry Wright any second now. So if you want to come and check that out, feel free. The link is in the chat. The pinned comment is TikTok. Go and follow me on TikTok. I've joined the non-social media sphere. So I'll be uploading some clips on there throughout the week of the shows and stuff like that. And yeah, make sure you go and check that out, people. But I will be back again tomorrow with Terry Flewers. That's going to be unbearable. And then I'll be back on here. I don't know what time I'm doing that with Terry. I'll confirm that.
Sorry to cut you, Lee, but the way Terry Flewers is going on the way he's selling it, I swear he's a closet gooner because he's celebrating our success more than any Arsenal fan. He's probably our biggest supporter. I mean, I know people used to switch sides when they're about in their primary school years, but to switch sides in your late 30s is a bit late, mate. Isn't it? To be a gooner all of a sudden.
He loves triggering people. That's the problem with him. He's had Spurs fans coming for him on funny enough on TikTok, I think it was. They made a video about him, this guy, saying ban the football terrace. He hates Tottenham. He's an Arsenal arse kisser. This is a fully grown man saying this. I'm like, mate, is it really that upsetting for you?
We know Terence. We know Terence is a massive fan of AFTV, and he likes to talk about the things you do as like an industry. I mean, industry. Where I come from, industry used to be like steel, making forks, making like things. I didn't know, talking to camera and going on YouTube is an industry. But hey, Terence, I learned. What did you say, Terence? Every day's a school day.
Every day's a Sunday. But anyway, on that bombshell, we're all in the mud. Arsenal are top of the table. The Bozo Gene can leave. I actually changed the title on this video to something completely different. What did I change it to? Don't be too scared to criticize Gabriel. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm out of here. Follow me on TikTok. It's pinned comment, and I'll be going live with Henry in 2 minutes. Adios, amigos. Arteta out.
Club's a star.
Go.